This short video just introduces you to the basic course policies and procedures in English L553. I welcome you to the course and just wanted to kind of explain the rationale here a bit and let you know what kinds of assignments you can expect within the course. First of all, just regarding the course's focus, we're going to kind of rethink the geographies of American literature in a way. How does place impact the way that you think about writing, or how does place figure in a writer's imagination? So we're going to look at some kind of basic American spaces, American geographies, and rethink how place works within those, and how place kind of works on the contemporary imagination within the context of those works. The poet Wallace Stevens in the early 20th century wrote that it seems to me an interesting idea, that is to say, the idea we live in the description of a place and not in the place itself, and in every vital sense we do. How do we live in a description of place? And the comparison here would be kind of like perhaps looking at a map of the Mississippi River that's here on the slide. If you look at the map, it seems very clear where the river flows. But if you look at the historical channels through which the river has actually flowed, and the differences in the course that it's taken within its history, as depicted on this slide, things become a little bit more complicated. So how does place become more complicated in its description, particularly as it's done through American literature? How do stories' depths complicate our individual and shared senses of place, of origins, of home, and of America itself in some ways? So we'll look at some spaces here, such as Mississippi as a state or region. We'll look at the West, the American West as a region, and we'll look at the space of the border, as well as a sense of sacred space and how that gets redefined in the American imagination through a couple of novels. Basically, to describe the course layout, a few things to note here. Please read the novels and poems as assigned. Then respond to the discussion prompts that will be available on the Canvas site. You'll have a week to respond to each of the prompts. And then I'll also ask you for a single point to respond to others' postings. You'll get from 0 to 4 points for the discussion prompts, and then an additional point for your response to others' postings. Like 150 to 250 words in terms of your basic discussion prompt, and then your response about 100 words. To help you along with the reading, I post short presentations on the readings themselves. These will be available under Pages or the Module tab on Canvas. You can click there, and these are short presentations like this that will introduce you to some key concepts within the readings for the week. We'll read poems as an introduction to each section, a couple of poems, and build comparisons or points of conversation that the poems might have that basically explore place's meaning within American writing. How does place figure itself within the poet's imaginations there? And we'll use those poems as a way to kind of start to think about the mythologies of place, the geographical mythologies that define the American imagination, how we appropriate place throughout the 20th century versus how we have kind of redefined place perhaps in the early 21st century in the United States and in the wider Americas. Then we'll use the novels as explorations of those points of focus. How do spaces get redefined? How do you, after reading Faulkner and Jesmond Ward's novels, how do you redefine Mississippi? After you read Leslie Merman Silko's Ceremony and Valeria Luiselli's extended essay in Tell Me How It Ends, how do you reinterpret the American West or the Mexican border? And then we'll look at The Savage Girl by Alex Shakar and Elmer Gantry by Sinclair Lewis, and think about conceptions of sacred space in the American imagination. Also within the novels, I'll ask you to prepare a short teaching proposal, maybe to think about the more practical aspects of the course, like how you might teach one of these works within a class, or how you might bring our points of focus into a classroom. In terms of the readings and writings in this course, the first assignment's a little bit different than the others in some ways. It's a 5-point discussion prompt. I'm just going to ask you to introduce yourself to the others in the course. You can explore things like, where you're from, your background, your reasons for taking the course, how you see this course as a means of professional development. How you can even, if you want to, even start to kind of think about the basic points of focus of the course. How do you anticipate that the course might cause you to rethink the geographies that have defined you in your own kind of journey so far? With the course readings, they're listed as per the syllabus in terms of page numbers. Please try to keep up, as you read. I try to give you that first week of just poems so that you can start to begin to read the assigned novels for this section. So try to stay up as much as you can. Read within the guidelines of the discussion prompts. I'll post those at the beginning of each week, and like I say, you'll have a week to respond to them, so you can read with those prompts in mind. Also, utilize the models that are there. They'll give you some ways to think about the novels, and there'll be some other resources that I'll post under pages or modules that you can use as well. Interviews, essays, critical work, and you can utilize those as well in your discussion and reading. And also read and respond to other course participants' postings here. So that's the lifeblood of the course, really, in an online section is reading others' responses and kind of building a conversation with others as you develop your own perspectives here. The writing prompts are listed on the syllabus themselves, and so we'll think also carefully about the revision process in this course. The discussion postings are meant to be a means of starting to kind of develop some central thoughts for your own writing here. So they're not just throwaway work. They'll kind of begin to get you in the mind to develop that short critical paper that'll be due at the end of the first section of the course, a 5-page work. They'll also kind of invite your thoughts towards how you might teach some of these works themselves in the teaching proposal, and then we'll work towards a final revised essay that can be written from your short critical papers or from some of your discussion prompts. As we go from there, it'll be an extended 10-page essay by the end of the course. Grading and evaluation of the course is listed here. Basically, I'm going to give you from 0 to 4 points for each of your discussion posts, and then you can earn an extra point for a response to others' work as well. The midterm shorter essay and the teaching proposal reach up to 25 points, and the final revised essay is 50 points. There's also some points available for your engagement with the course, as noted on the syllabus. My criteria for grading is how you engage with the assigned stories and novels and poems that we utilize in the class, how you utilize your own critical insights into the meanings of place and geography within literature, and then of course on the page technical aspects of your writing, the clarity and focus and depth of your argument as you write. As I say, the revision is an important point for me in this course. So that first midterm paper can be developed into the longer final paper, and I'll work with you by giving you as many comments as I can and as much direction as I can in preparing that final draft. And hopefully the idea is that you come up with something that you could consider publishing or utilizing practically within a course of your own work. One other point is just review the syllabus as it's written and posted on the Canvas site. All the basic information for the course is listed there. If this is your first online course, it's a little bit different than a face-to-face class. It really depends upon your own sense of responsibility in keeping up with assignments and discussion and writing. So be appraised of all the basic information there. My office hours and email availability are listed there. I will try to have online office hours when assignments are due particularly. Also, I will post the means that you'll have of getting margin comments on your drafts and writings within Canvas. So be sure to note that, and then you can open up the writings that you do, and you can see my comments on those. Also, take a look at the course policies. If you have questions there, please let me know. Please submit the work on time through Canvas. Note that in terms of discussion responses, there'll be no late discussion responses accepted. They need to be made within that week that they're assigned. So please budget your time wisely with those. Review the plagiarism and academic dishonesty policy that's printed on the syllabus as well. And if you have any questions about plagiarism or citation, please let me know. And like I say, the online course is a little bit different, but I think given your professional backgrounds, we'll have a good semester. And I look forward to working with you and reading your writing and hearing your responses to these works. Thanks.